So, what do they call it these days? Rank and rent websites, lead generating websites, digital storefronts, digital real estate. This is the concept of an individual going out there and building out a website, say for some kind of home service, ranking it up on Google, get it to the first page of Google, start getting phone calls, email submissions, generating leads, and then you go out there and sell them off to a contractor and home service business owner. What do I think of this side hustle these days and the whole concept behind it? What's up there, guys? Izzy here once again with Get Busy LLC, helping home service business owners, contractors, and local businesses to understand the internet, SEO, website design to get their business found online. So, in this video, I want to talk about this whole side hustle of the rank and rent model, the digital assets, the lead generating websites. And this is the concept behind all of this is an individual learns basic SEO, basic website structure, and what it takes to get a website to rank on Google. They go out there and find a niche in a small town, build up this website, get it to rank, push it all the way to the top of Google. Let's say it's the first page of Google, like the top three or so. It starts to generate leads, and then you sell off those leads to a contractor or a home service business. You could sell them by pay per call. You could sell them just by leads in general. You could rent out the website. Hell, you can even sell them the whole website, something like that. That's the whole concept behind it. And it's a whole I would say, there's a whole side hustle culture behind all this stuff and helping people to generate an extra income using this model. And I can't really bash on it because that's basically where I got my start. You see, when I got online, I was like, I would say 2017, late 2017. I was looking for a way to generate some extra money. I was driving a truck and I ran into a Facebook ad explaining this a side hustle of, building out websites to generate leads for contractors and home service business owners and using this specific model. And I'm like, huh, that sounds pretty interesting, especially since that's where I came from. I worked with concrete guys. When I worked for Lowe's, I delivered to fencing contractors, hardscape guys, landscape guys, deck builders, things like that. So I kind of understood the concept because some of these guys were getting leads like word of mouth, but they didn't not dive into anything online. So it really opened up my eyes. So I filled out the email form, which obviously they send you an email, they send you in the video, and then they send you a video where they show you the whole concept behind it. And this was like I said, late 2017, maybe early 2018. Hell, I can't remember anymore. But they explained this video is like 40 minutes, and I was fairly new to this online crap. I had built websites for some kind of little side shit I had going on, like a workout calendar I was printing out and selling these templates for workout calendars and shit like that. And I ranked that website completely on accident. I had no fucking idea how I even ranked that website. So when I started to learn, when I watched that video, I was like blown away. I'm like, holy shit, this is an absolute gold mine. This is something that's absolutely needed. Then I got, of course, got on a sales call, and man, oh man, when they told me how much this shit was going to cost, I think it was like $4,800. I'm like, how are you? Got to be shitting me. How the hell am I still supposed to pay for that to learn these skills to build out websites that are going to rank on Google, generate leads for guys, and get all that stuff going? Well, what I ended up doing was I said, screw it. I'm going to fucking do it. I pulled out a credit card. I slapped that shit on a credit card. And man, oh man, I went to town. It was hours and hours of training. Like I said, this was like 7 years ago. What's it, 2025 now? So 7 years ago. And I'm like, I dedicated all that money. I didn't have much money back then, because I was telling people I was making like 45 grand a year as a truck driver back then. And I said, screw it. I got to try it. I have to learn. And I sat there and watched lesson after lesson after lesson. That's where I learned a lot of my skills that I have now. It set the foundation of where I am right now. So I learned about H1 title tags, metas, and content writing and keywords and all this crap and, building out a website. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a lot of work, but I did it anyways. I mean, I absolutely did it anyways. And as I got going on, I mean, it was a lot more difficult than they said it was going to be, especially since I lived in a small town. Like I said, 30,000 people. There wasn't much, that I could work with. I'd have to work with towns that were like an hour and a half away from me, and they had a bigger population. And so I would build out websites. They taught us to build these websites on something called Weebly. I don't know if that shit's still, yeah, it's still around, but I think Squarespace ended up buying them or something, like one of those places bought them out. But I would build out a website, and I mean, I was just pain. It would take me days to build this stupid website. I knew all the title segments, I understood all that stuff, but writing that content was an absolute nightmare. I tell people I could barely read when I got out of fucking high school. It was terrible. So I was writing all that content and I'd build these websites out, and the damn things were like $30 a month. Plus, then you had to go out there and rent a phone number to hook up to the website. Let's say, I can't remember if it was like $10 a month or something like that. Ultimately, the damn website was costing me like 40, $45 a month to maintain it. Right. And I'm sitting there waiting for this thing to rank. And what they ended up showing was us to build out more. So you have multiple websites going out there doing the work for you. So that's exactly what I did. So I built like another, I think I ended up building like 5 total websites, but 5 websites at $40 plus you're buying citations and all this other crap. This shit was eating up a lot of my money, and I was ranking these websites and I couldn't get these things ranking. And eventually some of them I did get to rank, and it was hell of a time finding somebody to actually take the leads, because I find out some people don't care. They didn't want them, especially in my little town. But after I think maybe like 6, 7 months, I ended up getting some people. I remember building out an asphalt paving website in my county, and I was renting that thing out for like $200 or $300 a month. And I was like, holy shit, I'm actually making money online. This is crazy. And then I built out another like junk removal website. And I was renting that for another couple of $100. I built another couple more. As a matter of fact, I still have some of those websites, the ones over in like Salinas and Santa Barbara. Still have those things out there sitting in the ether of the internet. I don't think I've checked one of these days. So I'll check them out, see if they're still collecting leads. Sometimes I check out the email form and they still get a lead here and there, but I don't give a shit about them. They're just out sitting in the ether of the internet. Like I said, one of these days I'm thinking about rebuilding them here on YouTube, just so you guys will watch me rebuild them, and reformat it with my templates, all that good stuff. Just let me know if the comments is something that you guys would want to see me build out a website from scratch and just rebuilt those websites. So anyways, as time progressed, I was building these sites and I was making just a few bucks. I mean, believe it or not, when I was making an extra like $800 a month, it was unbelievable to me. Plus I was still driving the truck. So I was like, holy shit, I'm making extra money. And it wasn't until some of these guys that I was renting these websites to, they're like, can you just build me my own? And I'm like, damn, okay. And then I just build them their own. And then some other people reach out to me and say, can you just build me on my website and help me with my stuff? And I said, okay. And it was quicker money. So I would just build a website, charge them like $1,000 back then, and build out their website and help them with the business profiles and all that stuff. But eventually I just drifted off and just ended up just designing websites for people and then doing doing the SEO for them, working on the Google business profiles. And I kind of just drifted off and just quit the whole digital storefronts, rank and rent, lead generating websites. I just quit on it. It was just too much work. I didn't really like it. Plus, I had to go out there and make these Google business profiles, fake listings. I'd get UPS boxes, mail out the cards. It was an absolute nightmare. A lot of them would get like suspended and delisted, rightfully so. The fucking things were fake. What do I expect, right? But it led me into where I am today, and it's like I said, I'm thankful for it. And it's crazy for me to see these days that I still see advertisements on Facebook. I see it on YouTube. I see that people still selling these courses on these rank and rent business models, the digital storefronts and shit like that. And I've signed up for some of the emails just out of curiosity. And some of them are charging $3,000 or even more. And I'm like, holy shit, you still charging that type of money? You're going to learn all this shit 100% for free here on YouTube. Basically, how I built websites, anything on my channel, you could use to build a rank and rent website if that's what you wanted to do. And it wouldn't cost you shit just watching my videos and step by step on how to do just a basic website. You could rank that thing to go to the top of Google. So these days, what do I think about it now? I don't really think much of it. I don't, believe it or not, once in a long time, the idea bounces around in my head to maybe approach that in a different way. I've had people reach out and basically use my templates and my designs and built out rank and rent websites, digital storefront websites, lead generating websites. I've noticed them out there. I'm like, holy shit, they're using them to build out these types of properties. And I'm like, good for them. Whatever, more power to you. And if this is something that you want to do, it's going to let you know it's going to be a lot of work. It's just like whatever you expect it's going to take, it's going to take this much more. Just like anything in life, pretty much. That's one of the things I've noticed while being almost on this planet now for 50 years is that anything you want to take is going to, you think it's going to take this much to accomplish, takes this much. Anything, even raising kids, you think it's going to be this hard to raise kids is actually harder than that. Working out, I always tell people I've been working out most of my life, and to really make a muscle grow, you know, you think this is how much it's going to take. It takes this much more. That's just how life is. So if you're going to go into it, just go into it understanding that it's going to take work. You're probably going to build out more than one website. If I were to start all over, I'd probably build out 10. But these days it's way easier with like stuff like Hostinger. You could purchase WordPress hosting and set up like 20 websites. All you have to do and under one account, much cheaper than back, building out 5 websites at $50 a piece. It's $250 a month. Screw that. Now you could experiment. One of the good things about it is you're going to learn basic SEO skills, some website design, all that good stuff to get it going. And the problems that I'm seeing too with some of these people that want to do the rank and rent type of websites is they're approaching these niches that are very, very competitive. Something like a HVAC repair or roofing or something like that in a town with like 200,000. You got no chance. Especially these days, people are just going to the map listings, especially on their phone. If I were to approach it again, if I were to do something like that, I would approach industries and services that people have no idea even exist, that are high ticket. Nobody's building out these websites for them, and just wing it. Try like 10 sites, build them out, see what the hell ends up happening. Something like, I'll give you some examples. Like there's an industry out there, like demolition companies are called often. Like for example, in Fresno, California, people have homes. A lot of those homes have pools. And what happens is the people that own those homes, eventually all their kids grow up and they move on and they're just left by them. They call them empty nesters. And they have these pools out there just completely just useless, right? So what they end up doing is they call some kind of demo to get rid of their swimming pool or bury it and completely just cover it all up. There's an industry for covering up swimming pools. I've seen when I was in concrete, I remember when there's huge projects, big huge pours, some of these contractors will rent out something called laser screeds. These are people that came with the equipment and they would screed huge slabs of concrete with these something called laser screeds. They just go and scrape all the concrete, and they would rent them out from places like over in Sacramento or LA and bring them over, some industry like that. One of the things I've thought about too is solar panel removal and reinstallation. Sometimes when you have to work on a roof, it's all messed up. You need to get somebody to come in and remove all the panels off the roof and then put them right back on. And that's an expensive ass service. People don't even think about it. It's possible. I mean, it's very possible to build a website in a town with 100,000 people with that particular service, but expect to build out a bunch of these websites if you want to make something like that work. Another one too I've thought about is septic tank removal and replacement, right? Sometimes septic tanks take a shit, literally, and you got to get rid of them and you got to replace them. I've just built one lead gen website just specifically for that service. And another approach, if you do want to do like HVAC repair, I would build out websites for AC repair and only target towns with like 15,000 people, little itty bitty towns, right? It's 15,000 people. There's still going to be, 800 homes. Some of those are going to have AC. You're not going to get that many leads, but if you have a bunch of websites in these smaller towns, but then you have to take into effect, you have to call people, you have to call contractors, you have to reach out to them. You want to see if they want the leads. You could build 10 websites and none of them would end up ranking, or none of them would generate leads, or some of the leads you generate, nobody wants them. So you just get rid of them. So it would be, like I said, it would be a lot of work if this is something that you wanted to do. And then the final thing that I've learned from building out websites and things like that, when I took the training and I understood it, and now I personally feel like I've simplified the whole process. And I'm like, if this is so simple and so easy, why don't just the contractors do it themselves? So this is why I kind of made this channel and show people how in some situations it's really, really easy to do. I always tell people, if like you're in an industry like a deck builder, an asphalt paving, a concrete, in these smaller towns, like I always tell people here in my county, even the county, if I were to build a website, let's say this concrete contractor, for a concrete contractor, I'd blow away the competition because nobody here, even though I'm sure there's dozens of concrete contractors, nobody's built a really, really strong online presence for that service in this area because they just don't even think about it. Just the basic stuff, a basic website with the proper service pages, about contact, connect that to a good Google business profile, you'd kick some ass. You'd get some leads because nobody else is really competing online in the online space. So that's my opinion about the rank and rent website, digital storefronts, whatever the hell you want to call them. I've seen them called itty bitty websites that rank, whatever the hell these people come up with these days. If that's something that you want to approach, I say go for it. Just understand it's going to take work. Do you think it's going to take this much work? It's going to take this much more. But that's great. That's about the good things about life. Is like that's why what they call it, the cream of the crop goes to the top, and everybody else just goes to the bottom. Out of like, I remember signing up for some of the like that course. There was like 1,000 people at the time. Maybe it was maybe like 100 actually taking action. It which blew me away how many people sign up for that shit and didn't even take any action whatsoever. So sometimes these situations when it is difficult, it's good because then you know if you have the fortitude, the ability to take punches, lose a few bucks, get disappointed, get pissed off, and get angry, fail over and over again. If you could withstand it all, I mean, that's how you do it. That's what's going to separate you from the rest. And if you're a contractor or a home service business owners, just understand it's not that difficult to do. You guys can do it, especially you're only focused on one business. It's your only business. You're going to be the one answering the phone. You're the one online. It's going to be easier for you because all your focus is one business, one location, and you're the one behind the whole thing. So that's my whole take on this rank and rent and all that good stuff. And if you guys want to learn more about like my templates and my designs, you guys can use them for that if you guys want. I don't give a shit. If it's completely up to you guys. If you're a contractor, home service business owner, want to learn how to build your own website, all that links are in the description below. You don't want to build any of this crap. You just want somebody else to do it for you. You can reach out to me too. That's in the description there below. And that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time.